was decided somewhere around January of 2021 itself. And I started my preparation by giving two past year papers, CAT 2018, slot 1 and slot 2, so as to judge as to how I should go ahead with my preparation and where I stand. And after that, after giving those papers, I decided that I would need a coaching and I would need to pursue some self study as well so as to crack it. And my preparation strategy in the initial months mostly revolved around completing all the topics from Quant, LRDI, and VARC, which probably come in CAT. And apart from that, in the later stages, it was mostly around the mocks which I gave. And the most important part was getting into that mindset of giving CAT. So I can go step by step according to the three subjects, how I prepared for them. The first one would be Quant. So for Quant, I completed the study materials and I completed a lot of videos which I could find on YouTube to study about the topics which come, and I identified my weaknesses. For example, time, distance, and speed was a weak topic for me, and work was a weak topic for me. I identified them, I worked on them, I revised them, and I practiced. For Quant, there's nothing better than practicing the tricks so that you can get an idea of how you have to calculate the questions and how you have to leave them. The second one comes LRDI. LRDI, I believe, is all based upon how well you are able to uh, leave out on questions. So the best strategy, which I believe for DILR, is for for example, if 5 sets are coming, if you are able to sort out any 3 sets which you will be able to do completely, then I guess these are more than enough, 2 to 3 sets, and then you will be anywhere above 95 or 98 percentile of whatever you are aiming. So for DILR, I'd say that practice a lot of previous year papers, which I did as well. You can take a penny test series from the past years and you can just practice the types of questions which come so that you are familiar with all the sets. For example, there might be some on tournaments, there might be some on games, cards, playing cards, then there might be some on work as well. So you have to be graphs, you have to be aware about them, and this it'll also help you in inculcating better calculation practices so that you can easily calculate and mentally calculate a lot of different things instead of writing down stuff. For VARC, I believe that the best method would be to read as much as you can. And I'm not talking about reading just magazines. I'm talking about reading the editorials of newspapers because, see, I also understand reading the whole newspaper every day might be a bit challenging in case you're not that much interested in sports or in one section or in the other. But the editorial part, it is written by the most well-read people around those media groups. And it has a lot of uh, vocabulary improving languages, which can help you to assess where you stand. And the best part would be that if you're able to interpret what they are saying in those editorials, you should be very confident that you will be able to interpret what they are saying in RCs. So curriculum wise, these three aspects of each section, I think should be very good. And the most important thing comes out to be your mindset during the paper. So unlike other papers which I gave like JEE Advanced or JEE Mains, CAT is something which depends on how well you are able to identify the questions which you can do and how well you are able to identify the questions which you have to leave. So you don't have to complete all the questions. You don't, even if you are able to complete say 60% of the questions with a very high accuracy, I'm sure you'll be crossing 97, 98 percentile with ease. So getting into that mindset is what very important. It is very important. Being able to leave out questions and moving on and not wasting time on it. And I think this you can get only through giving a lot of mocks. So yeah, in the last 2-3 months, my whole preparation was based around giving as many mocks as I could from as many sources as I could, and then analyzing them, analyzing where I was going wrong, both subject wise, section wise, course wise, and topic wise. So yeah, this is the basic thing which I think everybody should know.
As to why I want to do an MBA. Because unless you're not very sure if you want to go for MBA or not, you will not put in 100% of your efforts. So the first thing for me was to define my career path for like 5 years and 10 years and then work towards it. So when I started preparing for CAT and I started watching YouTube channels, the content available on YouTube channels for clearing my basics, and then I used to move to sectional tests that were available, and then eventually mocks. And then the most important thing for me was to analyze mock. So I used to sit and analyze each and every question, each and every option that was given, and why did I get a question right and why did I get a question wrong. So that was my overall strategy on how I went about preparation for CAT per se. So for the last 4 months before my CAT, I basically made a timetable for myself, and I stuck to that timetable. So that timetable was essentially which day I had to do what, and I did not do like one day I'm going to do entirely quants, one day I'm going to do entirely LRDI. So I used to divide my time in all the three sections every day. So I used to stick to that time limit, and I used to so the time limit just gives you a challenge. So it's challenging that I have to finish this much by the end of this week. And when things start piling up, you have that motivation that no, I had to do this much. I've only done this much, so start solving more. So that helped me for 4 months. Write mocks. Don't skip mocks. Of course, a couple of mocks are you can skip a couple of mocks, but write it religiously and don't take it as a joke. Mocks are something that will prepare you for CAT, because CAT can be very brutal if you've not written mocks, because you will not know what to do and you will panic. So all the panic and all the confusion gets sorted when you write a lot of mocks, because now you're used to writing the mocks, facing different types of patterns, etc. So keep writing mocks whenever you feel low. Do whatever makes you happy, and don't forget your basics. Keep solving your basics. A lot of people, what they do is they'll just keep on writing n number of mocks. So every day or every week they'll write 4 mocks, 5 mocks. I feel that is counterproductive, because if you're writing 5 mocks a week, what time are you spending on analyzing it, and what time are you spending on strengthening the concepts that are weak? So write just 1 or 2 mocks a week and spend the rest of the time for finding out what are your strengthening, what are your strengths, and what are your weaknesses. Focus on improving the strengths area. Focus more on helping build your weak areas. So that is what you should be doing, in my opinion, in these 4 months now.
Toughest of all. They're not there to test key, can you solve the toughest questions, or can you do this, or can you do that? No. They're about like go through the exam paper, scan it properly, and attempt the right questions. Identify key, where do you have to put your time. Like it's not about completing the entire paper, but it's about completing it, choosing the right questions, that these are my strengths. Let me focus on them first. Let me get to them first, and then continue with the second part of it. So that is my first key takeaway. It's about time management. Don't get stuck on one problem you're liking. It's like a puzzle. You get so engrossed in it कि मुझे solve करना ही है. Please don't fall into that trap. Move on. Scan the paper properly. Identify कि हाँ, these are my strength areas. Let me clear these first. You don't need to uh, solve the toughest problem over there. So this is the first thing I learned. Second thing that especially matters, and something that I understood later, was like first I had given it CAT before as well, and that time I got a 98 percentile. My second attempt I got a 99.67. So what was the difference between the two? Like, did I do something differently? Some magic happened in the middle, and my percentiles soared? Nothing. It's because I was prepared before as well. The second time when I appeared for it, I focused on practicing. It's not like concepts. If you look at the CATCA paper, it is actually very, elementary level of questions. It's not, very, very, very tough that you cannot solve at all. If you give it good time, good practice, all the questions are doable in that. So it's not like they're testing you for your IQ. They're testing you for your practice and selection of the right problems.
Divide the preparation into various phases. The very first phase would be completing the syllabus. Before giving mocks or anything else, it is very important that you complete your syllabus. I'd suggest you can take some time before starting to attempt mocks and try to complete at least 20 to 30% syllabus so that whenever you write mock, you don't end up getting very low scores, which will demotivate you. Also, I've seen people preparing from various modules. I'd suggest you to stick with only one module. May that be of some coaching center or maybe some publication you prefer. The reason being, let's say I try to attempt initial few questions from 3 different modules. In that case, I'd be able to only practice the questions which are of lower difficulty levels. But at the same time, if I invest that time to attempt one full module, I'll be practicing on the on different difficulty levels like basic difficulty level, intermediate and advanced difficulty level. So it is very important that you stick to one module. The choice remains up to you. If you have joined some institute, I'll suggest you to stick with that institute and then later on give few mocks. Once you decided like what source you want to choose from, the next step would be to prepare a timetable. So I won't suggest to make a timetable on the very first day because timetable needs to be customized based upon each individual. So let's say the most difficult part for me was verbal, but I was good at quants and also DILR. So I had invested more time in my verbal. So this thing may be different for different people. So I'd suggest you to start studying for different topics and keep a cap on how much time you are investing for each. So let's say the ratio proportion topic from quant, if my quant is good, so I'll be taking just a day to finish it. But for some other person, he would or she would take 3 days. So try to note down these details, that how much time you need for each topic, and then make your timetable accordingly, depending upon the level of difficulty and your likings as well. Also, consider the timetable as sacrosanct and comply with it. You can also keep a few buffer days in the timetable so that you finish your syllabus in time and you have enough time to practice mocks. For an ideal candidate who has good number of days remaining for CAT, I'd suggest to complete your syllabus either by July end or mid-August, so that you have good 2.5 months of time, wherein you can try out different strategies of mocks. So depending on the time you have for CAT, you can either follow the order which is given in the module or as suggested by your teachers, so that all the topics makes sense. Because if you don't complete ratio and proportion, you won't be able to complete the other topics. Same goes with the linear equations in the case of quants. So it is very important, if you have time, stick to the flow that is given in the module or suggested by your teachers. But if you don't have sufficient time left before CAT, then maybe you can alter the order of preparation so that you can look on for a previous 3 to 4 years of papers and note down the topics from where the maximum number of questions were asked. And depending on this order, you can start preparing in that order itself. Need not say, in this case, you'll also need to brush up a few basics of the other topic, but this will be the best way possible to go ahead in the limited time you have.